Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at 20 amazing PC games you can't play anywhere else, until some of them suddenly drop an inevitable console port, but we'll see what happens. Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Selaco. Though it was only just released on Steam in early access form, Celico is an incredible title that every first-person shooter fan needs to check out. Developed on the GZ Doom engine, you'll explore the highly destructible Selaco as you take down baddies and try to uncover the mysterious events that led to its invasion. In addition to a stellar campaign, Celico offers expanded versions of each level where you can take on massive waves of enemies. Beating these will further unlock goodies that give the levels even more replay value. Really, just 10 minutes of play will have you hooked for hours. I lost so much time because I just couldn't stop playing this. Fallout 2.
Our life is in your hands, Chosen One. Prove yourself. Find the Gek. Be our salvation.
Really, you could go with either the first Fallout game or this, but the main reason we pick Fallout 2 is because of the difficulty. Combat presents more of a challenge than it did in the first game, and some of the randomized elements can make for tough runs. Even then, it's a blast to play and experiment with different character builds while experiencing the story under a slightly different lens each time. Just be aware that with age comes a few bugs and glitches that may have slipped through the cracks. Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. If you have been longing for a successor to The Simpsons Hit and Run, like some of us here at MojoPlays have, you've found yourself a new game to play. Terry wants one thing and one thing only: a car. But why does he need this car so badly? So he can go to space. Makes sense. But in order to reach that goal, you'll have to fulfill favors for your fellow citizens before you can use their junk to reach the stars. With its derpy characters, hilarious writing, and fun driving physics, Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip is a blast for those who miss the open world driving games of old. Sovereign Syndicate. Sovereign Syndicate was one of the first big surprises to come out of the indie scene in 2024. Whereas most CRPGs will use dice rolls to perform skill checks, Sovereign Syndicate takes a different approach by using tarot cards instead. Through this method, a skill check won't always be a success or a failure, but rather a new path in your campaign. Yes, it is very much like Disco Elysium and how that game implemented thoughts as a means to mold your character. That said, you'll probably enjoy this steampunk-themed title if you loved Disco Elysium. My Friendly Neighborhood.
Yay! I love that one!
Nothing could have prepared us for a survival horror game inspired by Sesame Street. My Friendly Neighborhood puts you in the role of Gordon, a repairman who has been sent to an abandoned studio that has suddenly been rebroadcasting its children's TV series. In addition to the hilariously awful and dumb things the puppets say, My Friendly Neighborhood does take note of your actions, as your encounters with the show's notable stars will affect which ending you get. It does get wholesome in some areas, but it's still messed up in its own ways. And trust us, it is a game worth checking out.
With friends who will forgive you.
Roller Coaster Tycoon series. When looking at games that let you build your own theme park, Planet Coaster dominates the conversation these days. However, if you want to experience the early days of this type of business management games, the first 3 Roller Coaster Tycoon games are available on Steam, and they are just as fun to play today as they were back then. Though a bit more restrictive with its use of tiles to place down rides, RCT is still flexible enough to create the theme park of your dreams with its selection of attractions. Of course, you can also do what so many of us tried to do: build nothing but death traps and completely tank your business. Nightmare of Decay. There are plenty of horror games you can find on PC, especially when looking for a game that harkens back to the old days of Resident Evil and Silent Hill. If you're somebody on a bit of a tight budget but can't shake off the craving for a retro-styled survival horror, Nightmare of Decay is perfect for you. After a weird night, you awaken to find yourself trapped in a massive manor filled with puzzles, traps, and strange beings that may or may not harm you. It's hard to tell. Will you be able to escape before you succumb to the monsters lurking around the corner? $5 and you'll find your answer. Not for broadcast.
And you can choose between them using the numbered buttons on the vision mixer at the bottom left. Don't worry, I'll talk you through it and you'll pick it up in no time.
This FMV game presents a rather obscure task we really don't see in a lot of games. You man a control panel for a television show, and as guests are brought on, you'll have to determine what moments need to be censored as the show is broadcasted live.
But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man.
On top of that, you'll have to utilize sound effects and commercials in order to keep the show alive and audience retention at an all-time high. And the choices you make outside of your private life will affect what happens in the broadcast room and vice versa. Live by your job's demands or let chaos ensue on everyone's screens. The choice is yours.
Ferry's about to leave, probably won't be coming back. Job's yours, mate. Good luck.
Same old boring politics then.
Is this some weird fever dream? Am I dying now or something?
Children of the Sun. This isn't your ordinary sniper game. No, Children of the Sun is a puzzle game disguised as a sniper game, and it's a really smart one at that. You only have one bullet to take out every enemy in the area, but you can alter its trajectory using a small amount of psychic power. You can also take out birds, explosive barrels, or gas tanks to extend your shot and plan a new trajectory. It's a game that requires a ton of thought and maybe a bit of trial and error, and it doesn't overstay its welcome as you'll be able to get through the game in just an evening or two. Dungeon Keeper Gold and Dungeon Keeper 2. While the IP has been possibly forever tainted by that godforsaken 2014 mobile game, the first two Dungeon Keeper games are still sinfully pleasant to play. You must build your very own dungeon to lure and steer heroes into traps in an attempt to kill them before they can reach your treasure. Not only that, you will also have to go out and tackle rival dungeons to further cement your domination of the world. Don't let the mobile game's catastrophe steer you away from playing these. Dungeon Keeper Gold and Dungeon Keeper 2 truly are fantastic games to play today despite their age. Please, go check these games out. Dungeon Keeper deserves to come back, just not in that dumb mobile form.
An entrance has been claimed.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Alright now, you got the blood, you're feeling all kick-ass, feeling better than your best day living, but wait, it gets better.
While we wait for the sequel to come out, you really ought to check out the first Bloodlines. Be warned, you will have to install a mod to make the game playable as it cannot run on modern hardware. It doesn't take much effort to install though, and once you do have it installed, you will be rewarded. Bloodlines does a tremendous job in immersing you in its fictionalized gothic version of Los Angeles, thanks to its unique environments, imaginative characters, and how it offers various ways to play with your character build. It may be a tad archaic in its controls, but if you can get around that, you'll find a fantastic vampire game. Sprawl. We know we've already put a good handful of FPS titles on this list, but Sprawl was widely slept on by everybody in 2023, and that's including us. Throughout this cyberpunk-themed game, you'll have to think on your feet as you attempt to bring down an oppressive, weaponized government. From shotgun propelling jumps to dodging enemy fire, every bit of movement in Sprawl feels insanely good to control. You can even use wall running to pull off sick maneuvers, like running around a tight room or corridor to get high enough so you can rain death from above. For $15, this game is well worth your time. Lethal Company.
Oh, nice. Oh, sweet. Can you sell it?
It's kind of wild how Lethal Company exploded regardless of its release happening right at the tail end of 2023. Honestly, this truly is one of the best games you could play with friends. All you guys have to worry about is to explore the area, find scrap to sell so you can buy better equipment, and most importantly, stay alive.
Oh, there's a creature in there. It just flew past the door. Yeah, I think it stole your tea kettle.
But the best part about this game is the proximity chat. The further you get away from your team, the less likely they'll be able to hear you. This alone can make for some extremely funny moments, as you'll hear friends panic before their comms suddenly cut off, and you're left wondering what became of them. And yes, the game has seen even more updates since launch that have added more creatures to encounter. Good luck!
Oh, I already found something. Found a bottle.
System Shock 2.
Once you get the battery recharged, place it in the auxiliary override.
We'll forever respect the original System Shock, but its 1999 sequel reigns supreme in our eyes. Between the sound design, visuals, gunplay, level design, and writing, it's kind of hard to find something to say about this game that hasn't been said already. Look, we'll leave it at this. If you recently played the 2023 remake of the first System Shock and loved every second of it, you owe it to yourself to play System Shock 2, even if it's an old game. Besides, this game will help push you deeper into the story while we wait for Night Dive Studios to finish their work on the long-awaited System Shock 3.
The one you used before is in a hard vacuum now, I'm afraid. should be another one on this stick. Once you get the battery recharged.
Cosmo's Quick Stop. Don't let its cutesy appearance fool you. While the visuals may be charming and the writing is super goofy, Cosmo's Quick Stop hides a sinister and challenging side to it. Help your Uncle Cosmo run the most successful quick stop in the galaxy by helping customers refuel, wash their spacecraft, offer them souvenirs, and prevent the station from getting pelted by asteroids. Oh, and keep those bathrooms clean, of course. Early levels do keep things breezy for a bit, but once you start rolling with interchangeable stations, things get super hectic. If you've been itching for a management game that'll keep you stimulated in short bursts, Cosmo's Quick Stop will leave you wanting more. Papers, please. Before we got the remarkable and thought-provoking not-for-broadcast, we had Papers, Please. Developed by former Naughty Dog staff member Lucas Pope, Papers, Please puts you in the role of an immigration inspector, and you must analyze each person's passport and documents while ensuring nothing fraudulent goes through. Sounds like a fairly simple task until outside forces begin affecting your flow, your pay, and eventually your living situation. Honestly, we're surprised this game has only ever been playable on computers and mobile devices. If you haven't already, please go check this game out for yourself. It does open your eyes up to some pretty critical issues in the world. Yellow Taxi goes vroom. Despite the basic title, Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom is perfect for those wanting a new 3D platformer or a new driving game. When we first saw this game, we were already charmed by its N64-like visuals. When we started playing it, we found a game that was immensely satisfying in its controls, clever in its level design, and a ton of fun to mess around in even if nothing is happening. Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom does plenty to invoke curiosity and offers plenty of ways to traverse the world with drifts, jumps, and boosts. It won't take long before you start trying to pull off ridiculous maneuvers, and you'll be proud of yourself once you find those maneuvers. I have no mouth, and I must scream.
So it brings me here, junkyard, electronic pyramid nowhere, and yellow. Always yellow.
Few horror games ever withstand the test of time, especially those that were released way back in the 90s. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is one of those few games. Even though it released way back in 1995, I Have No Mouth features some grisly imagery and dialogue that will strike fear into your heart as you try to help characters survive the wrath of a disturbingly hateful artificial intelligence.
Your sense of humor is as sick as your methods, Doctor. How can you act so innocent after having maimed or killed hundreds in the name of science?
With its serious and grim subject matter, I Have No Mouth is not a game for the faint of heart, but if you can stomach through it, you'll find it to be one of the best written horror games ever made.
That thing, like a bad meal come to life. And the yellow. Why is everything so damned yellow?
Pizza Tower. If you've been watching our videos, you'll recall that we named Pizza Tower one of our top indie games of 2023, and for good reason. See, it's not just a successor to Nintendo's Wario Land series, it's much more than that. This is a game you cannot play like any other platformer, as you'll need speed and precision to earn those high grades. Easier said than done, as each level will make drastic changes to its layout once you've knocked out the level's pillar. It all comes together to create some of the most visually satisfying and sometimes chaotic speedruns. Ultra Kill. Pure adrenaline. That is the only way to describe Ultra Kill. Whether you like boomer shooters, FPS games in general, or games you can speedrun, Ultra Kill is a must-own for a wealth of reasons. You want frenetic action? It's got that. You want creative level design that pushes your reflexes and aiming skills to the test? It'll do that. You want an ass-kicking soundtrack blaring the entire time you're playing? Then why are you not playing Ultra Kill? Sure, it's been in early access since 2020, but there's no excuse. Go play Ultra Kill. What are you doing? Stop watching this video. Go play Ultra Kill. But before you do, tell us what your favorite PC game to play is. Did it make our list? Personally, I've been playing a lot of Balatro. I know that's not PC exclusive, but I've been glued to this thing all year. But let us know down in the comments what you're playing on PC, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great videos every day.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.